after week 6 of the spring split. Well, for now, I'm just joined by Martin the Fisho Lima, but no fear, Maxlore will be joining us in a few.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah, just to be, that would have been awful, but Maxlore obviously is making his way over from the stage after that
also,
impressive victory.
I'm just everywhere today, so if you hate me, you must have really hated the show today.
Nobody hates you anymore. I think that's what we learned.
Who knows?
Everyone loves you now.
There's definitely one guy out there, surely.
Yes, tweet at the Fisho right now. But we are going to focus in on the EULCS. Let's check in with the standings rather after 6 weeks of play and the race for playoffs. So a couple of things have changed. Fnatic have taken sole possession of first place, just beat G2 Esports of course, and Team Vitality still looks safe, but they're not doing too
yeah, no, I'm scared if I'm Vitality. It's great they got 7 wins picked up from earlier, so it does give them a bit of a buffer where they can lose a bunch of games and still, of course, secure a playoff spot. I'm also just looking at, you know, Rocket down there, tied with Schalke. They got a bunch of wins early, and now they lost 2 games in a row this week. There are 2 teams underneath them who won a lot of games recently. There's a high chance next week we get a switch around.
Are you starting to believe in HJK and Unicorns of Love?
I'm definitely believing in the playoff chances a lot more than I did a few weeks ago. I didn't expect it to go like this, where we kept having effectively 8 teams just win-lose against each other all the time. Because I thought we'd have a bunch of teams kind of taking off and leaving the rest behind. It's only D2 Fnatic who did that. Yeah. Everyone else is still just constantly, you know, losing to each other or beating each other.
Yeah, I also see that Giants is actually still in 4th place, so we expected them maybe to lose a bit of steam after the first couple of weeks, but they seem to be refining themselves in these weeks.
It was just, if we looked at how they played last week especially, it looked super rough. They still tried to go full late game, teams just beat them early, and the games ended really quickly. So that's why obviously we look at them and say, ooh, these guys are probably going to keep falling down, but they did show much better early mid games this week. So just give you more hope for Giants when it comes to locking in playoffs.
So, we'll talk about Misfits with Maxlore in a second, also a bit about Vitality, I think. But I want to talk about Fnatic and G2 Esports for just a second, because as you say, it does seem like they are creating a big rift, not in the numbers yet, but between playstyles between them and the rest of the league.
I think it would not surprise me if Fnatic and G2 won basically every single game they played for the remaining of regular season. Now they've already faced each other twice, because I think they are a level above the rest, especially in terms of consistency. It's not Fnatic, oh great, one day and then the next day everything falls apart. They're actually consistently doing this, and the same thing for G2. So those 2 teams they have taken off. Everyone else, we will have 10-0 Maxlore one day, and then we'll have 0-10 Maxlore the next day.
You know he's getting mic'd up right there.
Oh,
you
is
can
Maxlore
see
over
him.
there?
Yeah,
I didn't even realize he was over there. I'm sorry, Maxlore. You're never 0-10, of course. 0-11 is what I meant.
All right, well, he's going to join us in just a second, and let's talk about his game then. Misfits versus Vitality. Obviously, last time around, Misfits got the victory after a strong early game from Vitality. This time around, it was Misfits all around.
It definitely was in the fights.
Yeah.
Early on, it looked like, okay, Vitality were kind of winning the lanes. We could kind of see what they were trying to do with the Rumble top, but I feel like every fight, because one team had frontline of Zach, and in this case, Camille as well diving in. The other team had a bunch of squishy players who all died left and right. It kind of went pretty heavily in Misfits' favor. I want to hear Maxlore's opinion on the Vitality comp, though, because it actually confused me a lot.
Yeah, we'll hear in a second, but what do you think? It confused me as well. They were trying to do, it seemed like a couple of different things, and that's why in the team fights, they couldn't really find each other.
It's just, so they picked Rumble to win top lane, which made sense, but then they didn't really play around it, and they didn't go for like tower dives or anything on Camille. So EpicSkillshot only got like a 10 CS lead, and that was about it. Then they picked a Kassadin to obviously try and counter the Zoe and get a fairly simple laning phase for Jizuke. But the problem is, the Rumble really wants to fight in the mid game before everyone gets lockets and some MR, and he kind of falls off a bit. And then Jizuke wants to farm and sit in a side lane. Doesn't really fit together.
You know what? Let's ask Maxlore. Maxlore, you can join us after. Yeah, just walk on the set with as much flair as you want.
So I can just like...
Oh,
yeah, just
everyone sees your butt now.
Sassy walk, there we go.
Okay, this is a bit weird.
Great job. Tell me about the Vitality draft. What do you think?
I think that it didn't really make sense.
Thank you.
However, they still could have won if they played well.
Sure.
All right, so what do you think then you guys were better at in the game, actually?
Well, so Camille was scaling for free, and he didn't get Dovin, and I think I think both junglers didn't play so well early game. I think I messed up my pathing, and so did Gideus somehow, because he wasn't like 2 levels ahead or something, because I messed up. However, they did manage to get Kassadin through the laning phase without losing. But then we just outplayed them in team fights. Like my Zac was just really 1v9. But to be
Sure, yeah.
But to be fair, I think both sides played well, but our draft just was kind of easier to execute.
And I think that actually, thank you. I actually said that in game. I was like, huh. It's weird because Yamato kind of was talking about how the drafts, they're a little bit too hard for them to play. They should go for something a little bit easier now that they're no longer just kind of steamrolling in the early game. And then they draft the Kassadin Rumble thing, and I'm like, ooh, looks really hard to play. And it was really hard because they've lost almost every single team fight. It was rare we got to see like Rumble come down on the backline, then Jizuke kind of got in and hit like one of the carries. Hansama and Senkux barely took any damage in all the fights, or any of the fights, and it was actually Maxlore, who just kept being like smack, 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 smack. He's Zac. He's like, I don't care. Like, this is my job. So it got a little bit too easy for Misfits to play the fights, it felt like.
Well, I mean, that's the position you put yourselves in as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were just, we had stronger champs for team fighting. I feel like even though they had like ways of winning team fights, like Kassadin flanking and Rumble ulti, like you said, I feel like we are way too mobile. At least Ezreal is really mobile, and I don't think Zoe should be in a position where he's just going to get hard engaged on. And with the way we played, like kind of safe and respecting their engage, like even though they had low engage, we respected it, and we really didn't get caught that often. Just once, maybe, or twice.
Maybe once or twice. Do you think there was something they could have done split push-wise? Because I felt like with Camille Shen, they could never really do a whole lot on the Rumble side. And then on the other one, you guys used Ezreal Shen, obviously, to sit against the Kassadin lane, so he could never split push either. And Zoe can just hold mid forever against Kalista. So I was kind of like thinking, okay, maybe they want to try and play on the Kassadin side lane and get ahead that way, but then there's still Shen ulti that's going to ruin it, plus Ezreal is pretty safe against him.
I think it depends on which team has tempo, because say if they had tempo, they could control the river in terms of vision, and it would be hard for us to face check since they will always get priority at that point and Tahm Kench can ulti. So it'll be hard, and we might end up team fighting, which is fine for us, but they can also avoid it, you know, since they have full control. And whenever we had tempo, we can control the map as well. It's just how we played around tempo, and I think we just played better.
Yeah, you played better today. I think that's very clear. Fantastic win for you guys. Congratulations. Vitality, on the other hand, that is 4 games in a row now. After you guys beat them the first time earlier in the split, we asked the question with these emotional players, how will they bounce back? Now, this losing streak that they're on, I'm starting to get scared that they're not going to bounce back in time because, as you say, they have a buffer. They have 7 wins, but that's now 4 in a row, and all these teams under them are starting to move up the Fisho. Yeah,
it's a huge problem. I think a lot of what has changed for them as well is just in terms of the drafts they get in the game. Like in the start, it was a lot of like Ryze, who could get ahead early game, and then he became a split pusher, and it was like super hard to play against Jizuke. It's not been happening for a long time. He had 1 Ryze game in the losing streak, but that one he actually ended up just not having any impact early because they were playing around bottom side, which got completely punished by a Galio, if I remember 100% correctly. So I've not been able to see the same kind of vitality as we saw earlier, and I think it's not just emotions or anything. I think just teams have also kind of learned what kind of drafts you play against them. And now I think they're kind of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit. We're playing some drafts that are really hard to execute. Also last week against Galio twice, where they tried to snowball bot lane, and Galio's like, I'm going to counter that every time.
Final thing on this topic, Maxlore, is Vitality still making playoffs?
Ooh.
They've banked enough wins to like scrape their way in. However, if they keep losing, of course, they're not going to make it.
And if they make it, will they do anything?
I mean, I've said this before, but I think if they like change the way they play, like Gillis' mindset in terms of early game and their whole team in terms of like, I think their main carry is Jizuke.
Yep.
And apart from that, I don't think any of them are really stepping up.
Agree.
And I feel like that needs to change.
All right, well, we will keep a close eye on that. But for now, it's time for my favorite part of the day, where I've prepared 3 statements for you guys to agree or disagree with. We're going to call it the shock and statements.
I'm going to say, yes, we are the 2 hottest men on Earth already. So you can skip
yeah,
that
okay, scrap
statement.
the first one, production. No, just kidding.
correct.
So they may be a little out there, they may be a bit controversial, or maybe, I can't pronounce that word, controversial, or maybe they are just right. You guys tell me. Here is the first one. Fnatic versus G2 will 100% be the spring finals matchup. Maxlore.
I think 100% is a bit too guaranteed. Like that, I don't like those odds really. Maybe like a bit less.
90%?
20, maybe.
20%. So do you see yourself in the final?
He has to say yes.
Yeah, obviously he has to say yes. But how far do you think you're off from their level? Let me put it that way.
Well, I strongly believe that our early game is a lot better than theirs. However, we really, really have issues with mid game and late game. And I mean, late game maybe not. It looks like a late game sucks because our mid game sucks, and so obviously like we're behind late game and then it's just over. We always win until we lose, as they said back in Dignitas. So if we play like we did today, I mean, we could play better, but if we keep improving and stop inting, we can be a fantastic team.
I like the advice.
Yeah, I think they can be a fantastic team, but let me then ask you the same question. If you look at G2 and Fnatic right now, the official, if you look at their development and the game they played earlier on, what do you think about that statement?
So 100% no.
Because that's a bit extreme.
That was a little bit extreme. Going into BO5, that's always the tricky one when you go, especially from BO1, because you don't get to see teams kind of adapt between games. You don't see how wide or big the champion pools are. So if one team comes in with a counter, let's just go back to the Misfits one from last split, camp mid against Caps. Fnatic didn't have an answer. It could be the same thing this time around, just a different kind of thing they can punish. So for me, it's not 100%. I think if I had to say, you know, the most realistic final, it would be Fnatic and G2.
Yeah.
I think they do look like the two best teams in Europe. I don't 100% agree that Misfits have a much better early game than like G2 does at the moment. So I think these two teams will be favorites when it comes to making the final.
All right, we will see how that evolves. Time to move on to the next statement, which is, if Rift Rivals started tomorrow, our top 3 would suffer the same fate as last year. Just to remind you, last year EU had 6 wins and 15 losses at Rift Rivals. Unicorns of Love was our best team we sent out of Fnatic, G2 and Unicorns of Love. They got 3-0'd in the final by TSM. So if what happened today, it would obviously be Fnatic, G2 and Vitality. Discuss.
Ooh, Vitality would lose a lot of games.
Yeah.
I think Fnatic and G2 would do fine.
Well, we also thought that last year, by the way.
True, but they don't just rely on Kennen side lane split push, at least on Fnatic side. So that's something. TSM's top 3 teams right now.
TSM's top 3 teams?
No, sorry, NA's top 3 teams,
C9's
not
in there
TSM's.
as well. Yeah.
Because they would send, so Echo Fox would be in there. They would be really good at the moment. That would be kind of good. Cloud9 as well.
They're good.
Ooh, those 2 guys are doing really well.
I think they would be better.
You think it would be as bad as last year? Would NA completely crush us?
No. Come on, that's a no.
It depends if I feel like NA are actually a lot faster at picking up the meta than us. And so if there is a meta change and they come into Rift Rivals week 1 and they show what they got, I think it's possibly over for EU. But yeah, like you said, we have a better chance as, you know, we don't, teams are like G2 and Fnatic are a little more flexible than last year. So
yeah,
that's going for us.
We have to remember G2 coming into Rift Rivals last year, they sucked. Like they had lost like so many games even in EULCS beforehand. So they didn't look very good. And Fnatic was obviously relying a lot on one playstyle, which worked in Europe. So again, they kept playing it. Got completely abused by mid lane just getting shut down, and then they would lose the side lanes really hard. So I think those 2 teams would come in better to Rift Rivals this time compared to last. So I don't think it would be like a complete stomp, but I would say C9 would win the tournament.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. I think C9, indeed, they look very, very strong. So Deficio says it. C9 is stronger than G2 and
Actually,
Fnatic
no, I take
and
that
Vitality.
back.
Oh, he takes it back now.
Fnatic would win.
Fnatic would win. All right, changed the mind there. Well, we won't know because it's not tomorrow, but thank you for exploring that route with me. Finally, final statement. Misfits development is at a further stage now than at this point last season. Maxlore.
I agree.
What are the factors that you think you're farther ahead, but obviously you weren't in the lineup at that point? You're at the team now and you weren't in the beginning of the spring split, so... Well,
wait, are we talking about summer split or spring split?
No, we're talking about the whole year, but for you it might be easier to talk about summer split.
Well, in spring split, they were like losing really easily. I mean, I beat them on Rockout really easily last year.
Well, you were godlike, obviously.
Yeah, of course. And in summer split, I think it was like we barely scraped playoffs in summer split, and we had huge issues with a lot, like everything pretty much. And it's kind of similar to now. However, I feel like we are progressing faster, as the statement is saying, really. Like last year, we did throw, like I still remember losing to HTK with an 8 or 9k gold lead.
Oh, that was one of my favorite games to cast.
That was one of my worst games to play.
We definitely called that game over like 17 minutes.
Yeah.
And then everything went wrong.
Yeah, but the thing is, that happened once, and it's consistently happening now, which means we're still getting leads early mid-game. we're just not. We just have to smoothen out the transitioning. You know, just make it really smooth.
And that's a lot on you, right? As one of the main voices in the team, so...
Well, yeah, sure, yeah.
I guess we can just play Maxlore of everything. History lesson real quick. Last year, around this time, Misfits looked like one of the best teams in Europe. But they did it by just being much better individually and being like with Kakao popping off in some of the games.
He was great.
Because you had not beat Misfits yet at this point. This was when Rocket were losing every game. And they...
Oh, no, that's not true. Because halfway we're beyond halfway through the split. And that's when we won every game.
Was that after the Origin game?
Yeah, like it just really turned it around.
So you guys beat Origin, yes. That's true. Okay, so
great job.
If they played now in week 6, that's fine. Because Misfits started really well. We were like, Kakao MVP, insane. Lee Sin every game, he was carrying. And then we realized they hadn't learned anything. And they could only rely on winning early game, and that was it. So everything just went downhill for Misfits. And they were second in their group, because we had groups back then. Please, do not kill us for that. So they were second in that group and stayed second going into playoffs, but they lost a lot of games beforehand. So I agree the team back then had fine individual plays from like Kakao, but that went completely downhill. People banned Lee Sin, and the team didn't look very good. So I guess the current team, because they're doing a lot of things correct in the first 2 stages of the game, should be further ahead.
Yeah, to close off the topic, Max, are you happy with where you guys are in your team's development right now?
I think it depends on, because like this was the first game in a long time where we didn't run it down mid game. That we did run it down once, but we didn't do it so badly that we lost the game. And I think both us and Vitality really need this win to like kind of bounce back. And like we were confident coming in, but I'm saying we're really happy that we didn't int it. And maybe next week we can not int it even more and keep winning, go 2-0, etc., etc. And then
great Korean advice we're getting. Like,
yeah,
don't int it, don't run it down mid.
Yeah. I mean,
you're right.
I'm not saying play passive. You know, then you're just, you know, I can't say those words, but
just say it.
But
no, you're boring.
Don't say it.
Well, what you're trying to?
No, not at all.
Okay, like the devil on my shoulder. Anyway, but proactiveness is good without being over just idiotic.
Yeah.
Have you played a little bit on the new patch already?
Yeah, I mean, I've been playing solo queue for this week as a professional player. I do like to do that.
Sure, I thought you were busy playing other games when you were not scrimming because you're not a very serious pro player.
Oh, yeah.
But,
I'm stacking
you know,
lot, yeah.
when he went Worlds, he got the quarterfinal. Ego just, it went crazy. No, but what I want to ask is when you look at the changes, do you think the meta next week with 8.4 is going to look super different and we're going to get maybe like a lot faster games and everything? Or is it still late game is king and that's where a lot of teams will play towards?
I mean, right now I don't think it's late game.
For a lot of teams it is.
Yeah, but they're kind of falling off now, right?
I'm going to say yes and no. Okay. I would say a lot of teams have still been winning that way. We had very long games today.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure, the games might be faster because there'll be more deaths, especially in the early game where you don't just have full side vision.
Yeah, because no trackers.
Yeah, that was like really stupid an item, and I'm glad they removed it. What? I think it'll emphasize like. Wait, am I not allowed to say that?
No,
you are. It's just, you know, a lot of people are up in arms, and Maxlore just is glad that it's gone.
Oh no, it was really too easy to play the game. You know, just full clear, reset, go towards something, and then you're done as a jungler. So with Red Smite, it's going to highlight, or Blue Smite, but everyone's going to go Red Smite, let's be real. It highlights like trinket placements even more and vision wards. Like, so I'm going to be really critical on my teammates if they misplace those. I feel like maybe it's going to result in different usage of pinks. I'm not going to say too much because, you know, I don't want to give tips with my high IQ and all. But yeah, I think it's...
Aren't you like Diamond 2 or something, just trolling every game?
I lost my Master Tier promos today, okay? Don't say that to me, okay?
Sorry, I'm sorry, Diamond 1.
It hurts. It hurts. Okay, so by next week I'll be Master. So yeah, the meta will change. I don't think it'll change too much because we're still seeing like fast clear junglers, but it'll change a bit, yeah.
Yeah, everything's crazy already. Will it have a huge impact on, let's say, Fnatic and G2?
I think it will benefit G2 more.
Because of Jankos.
Because of Jankos, yeah. I think he is better. Or at least 2 years ago, he was really into that aggressive style and just really going ham in terms of avoiding vision and all. Brox is more safe and like a babysitter for caps. So yeah, it's going to benefit G2 more.
So a lot of discussion like on Twitter and so on among a lot of pro players was by removing Tracker's Knife and there's less vision on the map, it will actually not make teams play more aggressive. It will make them play more passive because they're afraid that they don't have enough information to make a play. Do you agree with that, or do you think it's going to be actually different and people are going to look way more to fight each other, like individually, like 1v1 junglers and these kind of things?
I think it really depends on jungle or the type of, like how the team plays around the jungle, how they're going to play. If your jungler can like know or like ward in a way early game with just one ward, that can be really valuable. It can give you a lot of information and your laners can play accordingly.
So it's a lot about predicting also where the enemy jungler is going to be.
Kinda, but I think some junglers in EU are harder to predict than others because they're a bit mental, but it's okay. That's good in next patch, so that's good for them.
That's a good thing.
Buff for those.
All right, we will see what happens. We'll be keeping a close eye on that. And with week 6 in the books, let's take a look at the LCS big plays sent in by you guys on Twitter. Here they are, brought to you by Acer Predator. First up, Caps and Reckless have proven themselves as a solid duo so far, with at the AVAX giving them the fitting nickname Capsless. In their game against H2K, it was the Swedish AD carry's turn to make the engage, setting up an explosive team fight.
In my ears, that Caps actually hit that big old 1,000 number right now, and we'll see if that's going to come to bear as they find the damage on to Shook. He's got the Resurrect coming in from... Never mind! Caps just deletes him a second time. He says that's just fine, and here we go. Looking for selfie redemption, but I don't know if H2K will be redeemed. The Emperor's Divide divides absolutely nothing, and it's a shutdown. Reckless trying to prove that he can make the plays too. A triple kill on the Xayah, and that might be it right now.
We'll not have snare up in time for this.
Wait. I can go.
Yeah, but there's a tower though.
I'm not with you. Has he flashed?
Help me. No.
Reckless!
Nice.
So good! Holy shit.
Sorry, I was going a bit ham there.
Go fucking crazy, man.
You know, I saw the Asir dying and I thought to myself,
everyone else
what a wonderful
plays
world.
You know, while you were flashing in, I almost died to Asir turret.
Hey, Matti, you don't do that in scrim, by the way. You don't flash forward like that.
You guys were talking already. It was such a cool replay, and all the Fisho could talk about is how he had to tweet. What? Now you can say it again on air. What did you have to tweet, and why did you have to tweet it?
So I lost the bet to Reckless from the Euphoria podcast that's available on SoundCloud, iTunes, and YouTube. I've said it so many times I messed it up now. Basically, we said, I said G2 would win. He said, of course, the Fnatic would win. If I lost the bet, I had to tweet that he's the only AD carry and everyone else simply plays marksman. And we saw that in that replay. Notice how I can transition it into the big play. 3 years of casting skills has made me able to do that. And that play was sick.
All right, what else is cool about you, the Fisho?
Nothing else. That's all I got. Maxlore is way cooler, and I like his glasses.
Alrighty, well, let's move on to something even cooler, which is the next big play. Next up, Splice's Odoamne found himself in a tough position versus the Unicorns of Love. The Romanians somehow managed to turn it around, pulling off a sick outplay.
Especially compared to the rest of the league average, you look at this is all by patches for the rest of the league. Yeah, so win percentages when they're behind. We don't have time to talk about that because there's a gank in the bot lane. 1v2, Odoamne, well, he won one of those earlier last week, but I don't know if he's going to be able to do it on this gangplank, or maybe he can. Looking for Cold. That's a lot of damage. He's getting the shield on, and oh, he goes golden. Is that going to buy enough time as Totro comes in? The ice bullet comes down. Oh no, it's an orange, and it's all okay as the cavalry's arrived. Kame picking up one, and Totro going down for a second. Xerxes getting the kill.
I mean, the thing is that I need a lane where I can farm.
The thing is they will go
You
bottom.
beat Nar, no? I am getting gank bot.
I'm coming bot. I'm coming bot lane.
You can survive, you guys go first.
Win. I'm coming. I'm still coming to you though.
Guys, kill the rise.
Nice.
Alistar, I'm out.
I kill him.
Kill this guy.
Good job.
Very nice. Or no?
No.
Just get tower,
Just stop the game.
I want to catch top wave as well.
Well, great outplay. Maxlore, you were saying he was screaming win before they even won it, so he could get his teammates there faster. Is that also what you do?
I mean, I say the enemies are inting when I want my teammates to come really fast.
So they can pick up easy kills, even though they might be luring them into a horrible trap.
Oh no, then I say I'm inting when that happens, and then they just leave me alone. That's fair enough.
They just leave you alone.
Yeah.
In the end, Splice, unfortunately, they lost that game, but they won today, so they're 1-1. Unicorns of Love went 2-0 the Fish Show.
I know. They're probably going to make playoffs is the way they're playing at the moment.
You want to change your votings?
I mean, I kind of feel like, so even when they were 1-8, we did call them the best 1-8 team ever.
Yeah, but nobody wanted to put their money where their mouth was in the
I mean, with 1-8, we can't put them in playoff already. And I guess back then we could have been crazy and predicted it. But now they keep playing better, and they're punching a lot of these teams who do make a lot of mistakes. So Samox stepped up big time in that game, and despite Oramna's pretty good outplay, Unicorns won.
They did. Talking about outplays, one of the most thrilling finishes of the split occurred earlier today in H2K versus Giant. It all looked lost for H2K, who set up for one last fight as Giants pushed in to end the game.
Let's go, Dracos!
Could have been anything. Callista brings it home, though. Manages to get it. Now there's going to be the slow siege down. They're using the Tark ultimate. They got 2.5 seconds to cut through the base, and it looks like it may just be enough time. But suddenly the fight is starting to break out. They're looking for a chance to bring this one back. Betsy's in the middle of everybody, and he's not going to get taken down quite yet. Sheriff wants to redeem himself. Selfie pushing in. Ruin going to get down and straighted. Targamas wants to bring it home. I don't know if he can. Are you kidding me? Who is going to end the game? Targamas wants to bring it in. Ruin goes down. What is this? Oh my God! H2K, that is fucking beautiful!
That's the minions. I can TP top maybe.
Yeah,
You can TP.
You can end. Can I go? Just TP. No. Defend. Oh, did we fucking win?
Yeah, I think we
fucking won.
I think we won. Yeah, Cocky can end, I think. Yeah, Cocky can end.
Holy shit.
Look at the death time is still so long for Giant. He's clearing it out. He's gonna do it. He's gonna do it. Selfie, one man. Take your hands off the keyboard, bud. You don't even need it. You bring it home.
I have to cover my ears. What's going on here today?
It's because Dracos did it first, and then the player's like, oh, okay, if he's doing it, then it's clearly okay.
I'm definitely not going to say it. However, that play, I thought the call was amazing. Maxlore, did you see that live? Did you?
No, I was in the shuttle, I think.
So what do you think?
Tea.
Making tea.
Well,
in the shuttle making tea.
Yeah, I mean, okay, sure. Well, yeah, that was just, I didn't see, like, the TV is really far away, so I can't get nitpicky over, like,
it was really big here.
It's not about who messes up, it's about the big play, the positive play, right?
So who made the big play? Was it just the whole team?
Sheriff definitely made the big play.
I mean, did he get a quadra kill because he was cleaning up, or did he get...
No, I think he was setting it all up for himself. Like, he lined up a really sick, like, snare on 3 members where he got a ton of damage from it, and then after that, he cleaned.
I really like your color casting right here.
Mate.
You snare. Can't remember the spell name. Can't remember if it's...
Hey, as a color caster, it's okay to say QWER. That's what spells are called.
So which one is it?
He used their E, because the W is the attack speed buff. So he used the E where he pulled them back.
I would jump in, but I also can't remember in this moment. Luckily, I'm not a color caster.
No, it was definitely the E he used, right? That's the E.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad that you're like really struggling as to which ability you
I didn't mess up. I said he used the E instantly, not instantly, but I did say he used the E.
We're taken away from this cool play. I thought it was amazing from H2K. Actually, they were about to go 0-2 this week. We're just going to call it the Shook effect, even though it was Sheriff.
Yeah, that was definitely the Shook effect game. Now there's more memes on HK.
He didn't steal that Baron, though, before, didn't he? Or was it also Sheriff?
That I don't remember.
Don't remember. Well, Maxlore, are you afraid of Shook?
Not in this meta, no.
Okay.
What about next?
Oh, actually, next week.
Oh, he's crazy.
No, but Lee Sin is like, I mean, we saw that Korean thread on Reddit, you know, it's ripped, no?
I mean, there's going to be other picks, and you can't predict where Shook is going to be.
That's actually true.
And also, are you sad that we've never used Maxlore, the name, to coin any term
like the Maxlore effect?
The Maxlore effect
what would it be?
Like, technically, he joined teams who got really good halfway through the split and started winning a lot, but we never said it was a Maxlore effect. You never made a play where we were like, oh, that's a Maxlore either.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saving it for my Lee Sin. It's just Lee Sin, when I played against G2, they had time canch, so I couldn't do the Maxlore. And yeah, we never picked Lee again.
What would the Maxlore be?
You'll see. You'll know when you see it, okay?
It's not missing Qs, right? You did that a lot in that game.
No, that's part of the Maxlore too, but I want to I want to replace that.
Rebrand it.
I like it. I like it.
All right,
so we need the Maxlore something soon.
All right, we'll see. We'll keep an eye on Maxlore's plays and see if we can dub something. The Maxlore. We'll be back for more big plays next Friday as the spring split continues with a clash between Roccat and Giants. It is crunch time on the road to playoffs. Only 3 weeks left. Still anyone's game. Misfits is going up Fnatic and H2K on that first day. Europe versus Fnatic. Maxlore, obviously a very important one in the race for playoffs. What are your thoughts towards that matchup?
We can win.
You can win?
Yeah, I mean, I think the game is always in our control. I think we've only lost when we sucked, not when the enemies were like really, really good. Because I think, I mean, now Fnatic and G2 are looking really, really good. So maybe it's up to both teams, but I really think it's up to us whether we will suck or we will play really good.
I get a little bit scared now when I see Fnatic draft wave clear late game, and then I see Misfits consistently not close out games because they always make a big mistake around the fight. So I guess if Fnatic drafts the same kind of comp, they will lose early game against Misfits, which is fine. And if the same mistake happens from Maxlore and his team, Fnatic will get the win. So I am betting on Fnatic.
You're betting on
So it's
Fnatic.
on us, basically.
I mean, it kind of is, yeah.
It's in our hands.
It was on G2 today.
Yeah.
You know, they won the early game with the draft as they were supposed to, but then they couldn't get through Victor and Sivir. It was too slow.
Quick fire predictions. HK versus Unicorns of Love. At least one of those teams is going to get another win.
I'm going Unicorns.
Unicorns all the way. You're on the hype train. And Maxlore, Vitality versus Schalke. Will Vitality turn around their winning streak? No, the opposite. Their losing streak into a winning streak. Or will Schalke win that one?
I think it depends on the draft. I think.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, obviously, yeah.
go.
But I think Schalke have been doing more consistently, like nowadays. The early game needs some work, but I think they'll win.
Do you find some joy in Gilius losing 4 games in a row?
Not really. I mean, feels bad, you know, for the guy, but he said that he needs to improve for today, you know, because he's been slacking, and it didn't really show from both me and him. So hopefully next week he can do better and actually be the best jungler in Europe if he, like, perform like it if he wants to keep calling himself it. Yeah.
Yeah. I think you're a class act. I was trying to bait you, but you just...
We're trying to bait him a lot today.
Well,
I can't.
it's kind of fun.
I can't talk shit when I'm playing really bad, so...
Oh, God. Another swear word. Wow, it's been the theme of the 2 days. What?
I didn't drop one yet.
Nope, you didn't. So we're going to close out the show, so you definitely cannot do that. Thank you so much for joining me, the Fish Show. And Maxlore, of course, thank you. Always a pleasure.
Thank you for being here. Thank me for being here.
Thank you, Maxlore, for being here. Thank you for winning the game so we could get you on PGL.
You're welcome, you peasant.
Oh,
right,
now he can trash talk me, apparently.
You're not a player, so it's fine.
That's true.
All right, there we go.
Not.
Fantastic. On that note, that was all from us from EULCS in Week 6. Thank you very much for watching. We will be back next Friday for more action in the EULCS. Have a fantastic night.
The backline, Exile as well. He's leaving forward. He is fearless. That's one more. Cole's going to get the reset. Looking for the bounce out. But they're firing back. Prophet tries to find the disengage. Flank from Totoro. Pulls Exile and wants to get one under Prophet. Wants to feel just a little bit more. He's going to get the slow Exile. Now moving forward. He gets the shutdown.
I love you, Exile.
I was playing really bad this game.
No hesitation. Here comes Zach as well. Trying to look for the kill. They're going to get the first blood. Miss Q might go down as well. Oh, the aggression. And they still have to win the 50-50 fight. And it's... Oh, God, it should not be possible. Ruin going to get down and straight in. Targamas wants to bring it home. I don't know if he can. Are you kidding me? Who is going to end the game? Targamas wants to bring it in. Ruin goes down. What is this? Oh, my God, H2K, that is fucking beautiful.
Take your hands off the keyboard, bud. You don't even need it. You bring it home. H2K!
If they're trying to complete it, he immediately goes in on the upset. Upset's going to push it back. Has not used the stopwatch yet. Hesky tries to bring it back. They do manage to take it away. Baron has gone down. Nuke Duck running for his life. The rest of the team, it's absolute chaos. Nuke Duck's going to die.
Trying to take it down. The GP now coming in for the rest of the team. Vander is here. Can they kill the 80 carry before this ends? It doesn't look like it. Splice!
First blood of the party for Fnatic, and Fiona goes down. Reckless picks it up. It's not done yet, as what did will be taken out. And that's a double kill. The target is perched. The target is the king of Europe, and he's down. For his life, no flash available. Yeah, he goes, gets choked down and killed by Reckless. And Soaz has done his job. He's kept Fnatic alive.
Tony starts to control. The counter is up to the right. The Nexus tower's down. Fnatic have done it. Fnatic are first to be in LCS.
Nobody's down yet. The CB trouble bubble catches one. It's a trade so far. 2 kills in favor of Misfits.
Take down the Nexus turrets. They break their losing streak. And Misfits make Vitality go 0